Okay, well, we're back. We're gonna wait until people. We're gonna wait until people. Until people kind of file in here. But until then, I'm just gonna play some videos. There you go. I don't know what happened, Alan.
Yeah, that was weird.
That
the timing was impeccable.
The timing was. Do you think our channel got reported? Wait, we're gonna restart. Okay, that has never happened to us. We've never had a stream. I don't know. Was the stream shut down?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dempsey says like our channel is under attack.
It just seemed like the pipeline stopped. It's not like they shut us down.
Oh wow! It happened everywhere, even NASA's.
Oh,
the stream has been wild so far. Dr. D never went down. Channels have been going down all through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Midnight's Edge was down too. It was a YouTube problem. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone in the chat, for doing that. That's bizarre. Yes, this is live. We are live. So we're gonna wait for people. We're gonna wait for people. Many live went down. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't worry, darling. Movie is so bad the stream killed itself. Well, for the people who stuck around, how can you tell me at what point did you hear what I was saying? I think that for a second I thought that because there were some haters in the chat. I just wonder, did they report us? I thought that for a second, but resmash that like button.
Yeah, I wonder if I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, Alan is looking at some stuff. So the screaming girls in the theater, shut it down. Chris plus Alan, let's go. Yeah, it's so weird because I looked over. Davina Duckworth, hello. Never mind, Dr. D getting issues now. Stream stopped when you said girls were screaming about styles. Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. Wow. That was it.
Oh, wow.
I will say that if you do want the spoilers, if you go back to the old video, it's everything you said is there. So,
oh, really? It is there, like on the video?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, everything you missed is on the old stream.
I'll give a quick recap, but someone in the chat says that this movie made for 13-year-old Harry Styles groupies. It is not made for them. Having said that, if you're a Harry Styles fan, don't care. They'll, it's not made for them, but I think that they will love it. The thing is this, I think that what will disappoint them is he ends up becoming the villain. Harry Styles is really the villain of the story. In fact, all the men, there are no good men in this story, none whatsoever. All the men, and this is why I say that I think Olivia Wilde may have been going through something during this. And by that, I mean the divorce from her husband. So
you're saying that she rewrote, she inserted the ending as a catharsis for her divorce.
Well, the whole thing is that this whole thing is she kind of wants to break away from being in a controlled life. Like this being at home and being a housewife ends up being a literal prison in her mind, as it's revealed. And this is the big spoiler. So I'm getting to the spoiler. The spoiler is that it's revealed that this idyllic 1950s, 60s, perfect, housewife, guy who goes to work, like they have a great life, is basically her being imprisoned in a video game that is a virtual game that Harry Styles' character in the real world, who is basically a video game addict. He's kind of a nerdy, like he's as unattractive as Harry Styles could be. They tried to make him unattractive, sort of nerdy. You know how I know he's nerdy? Because he's wearing glasses. That's how they say he's nerdy. So it is sort of like the Matrix.
Yeah,
geek. Yeah. So there you go. So I don't know, like my more detailed telling of the reveal is in the other video. You can go back and watch it. Yeah, it's it just kind of ruins the whole thing. There, for me, it just kind of that. And look, everyone I know that saw it says that the third act, they hated it. It's sort of a groan. It's like, this is your answer. I thought it could have been something interesting. Like, are they even on Earth? I started to think like as you're watching the movie, the fun part, at least for the first 2/3 or 3/4 of Don't Worry, Darling, is trying to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. Mystery box. What is it? Are they on an asteroid in another galaxy where they're trying to go to repopulate Earth because Earth is destroyed, and they just sort of picked an era to like live like, sort of unbeknownst to them, they're going to repopulate. Like my mind was just going with theories of like what the hell was going on. Is it all a dream? Which is like lazy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm always bothered by movies that basically say everything you saw up to this point meant nothing.
Yeah. Well, it didn't mean anything because in the virtual world, these things happened. And I think it's very telling that the 1-starred comment is Henry back to play. Just me. Alan is sexier than Harry Styles. This is the one comment. There's all these comments in the chat. Alan stars this. What does that tell you? Jesus, Alan, come on. Heinlein said it became a member. Thank you for that, Heinlein. We appreciate it. Alan, there's way better comments here that you could start. Come on.
Yeah, I'm kind of wading through the, I mean, a lot of it is, your comment about Olivia Wilde going through a divorce. A lot of comments about Harry Styles.
Well, here are the rumors and the gossip as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong. They started to make the movie. Olivia Wilde is making the film. It ends up being revealed that Harry Styles is getting paid more than Florence Pugh to be in this movie, even though she is clearly the lead. She is the lead of the film. Additionally, my understanding is that Florence Pugh and Harry Styles started to become a thing. They did a lot of intimate scenes together. And when Olivia Wilde noticed this, she kind of stole Harry Styles from Olivia Wilde, stole from Florence Pugh. They were starting to like be a little flirty and whatever. And I guess Olivia Wilde swooped in and stole Harry Styles from Florence Pugh. I don't care about any gossip. I don't. This is just, it's been so vocal, like everything from Harry Styles spitting on like Chris Pine.
No, it's reverse Chris Pine spitting on Harry Styles.
No, it was Harry Styles.
Oh, was it? Okay, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yes. And yeah, you missed the twist. You'll have to go back and Sanjuro's Shinjitsu. You'll have to go back and watch it. Basically the twist is in the third act. She has this perfect life. It's revealed that she's actually in the perfect life feels like a prison because she's a housewife at home that cleans and shops and drinks alcohol all day and prepares meals while her husband goes off to work. It's revealed that she is basically in a video, like a virtual simulation of that perfect life where Harry Styles' character has kept her a captive, and he's effectively an incel who's video game addicted, who only goes off to work so he can like afford to pay the rent in the horrible rundown apartment that they're both living in. That's effectively the twist. The twist is incredibly dissatisfying. Then, of course, she's still in the virtual world, even though she learns the truth. She's stuck in the virtual world trying to escape, because if you die in the virtual world, you actually end up dying in real life. These are the rules. These are the rules. The filmmakers made it. Those are the rules.
Yeah, so, but you set that rule up at the end of the movie, and it just means nothing.
DM Foe Sims the movie. Effectively, that's what it is. Batman. Not the Batman.
Where on the M. Night scale is this twist?
What's that?
Where on the M. Night scale is this twist?
It's pretty bad. Not the Batman. Funny, not the Batman. I'll be watching other streams, and Not the Batman's always in the same chat of every stream I'm watching. So shout out to Not the Batman. Says, but she'll never know what Harry Styles went through, like Wanda. True. Yeah. and Infinite Main, who wouldn't want to imprison Florence Pugh? That's what's weird. You know, it's made very clear that Harry Styles' character and Florence Pugh's character Alice are in love. Like, they are in love. They're frisky like rabbits. They're always going at it. But something doesn't feel right to her. Something is weird. So does she get naked? No.
Does he get naked?
But it's the most, I would say there are no redeemable male characters in this, because it's revealed like all of the couples consist of some sort of, like, he's never actually met these people in real life. Like, there's sort of this confession about like what's going on. He's never actually met these people in real life at all, right? At all. These are the avatar versions of themselves. And the version of Harry Styles in the virtual world has a British accent, but in the real world, he doesn't have a British accent. And it shows him kind of setting up the little default like parameters for when he enters the virtual world, what things will be like. It's bizarre, but it's such an unsatisfying reveal. And we've seen movies like this, like The Stepford Wives and whatnot. But it's very much it's an indictment against the patriarchy. And it's also very, very anti-male. And there you go. Now, if you find that will be entertaining for you, sure, go at it. But yeah, it's I can't think of, I mean, everyone that I've discussed this movie with who's actually seen it has been completely dissatisfied with that ending. Let's go.
It sounds like that the majority of the film's ticket sales will come from Harry Styles fans. And
this movie will be number one at the box office. There's no doubt whatsoever. And I will say, on the positive side, the first 2/3 or 3/4 of this movie is amazing. I'm like, where is this going? And I would even say Olivia Wilde's a legit director. I mean, it looks impeccable. It's like a bygone era. Captured this bygone era. And everything from the music to the sound design, like, you had me. It's just that this reveal is so incredibly unsatisfying. And also I felt stupid for thinking up ideas that may have been better than what was actually revealed. Right? Mm-hmm. I felt that the reveal is just like, oh, he's just a video game nerd who trapped you in a virtual simulation. That's effectively what it is. So,
well, I mean, it sounds like, you know, we talked about it with My Son Hunter. When you write a story out of anger, you lose this ability to tell a really good story.
Yeah, this is very much preaching to, and the worst thing is when they show Florence Pugh's real life, it seems fucking awful. It's awful. Mm-hmm. She works long hours at a hospital. They have a terrible, like, small, like, 1-bedroom apartment. Harry Styles, the husband, is just sort of playing video games all day. He's kind of a loser. So yeah. Bad Adam 12 for 10 says, here's some money to upgrade from that 9600 baud acoustic modem you're using. Maybe buy one of those high-tech 56K baud turbo modems. I actually have like a decent like Ethernet, like, and I'm direct in, so it should be okay. It was a YouTube thing. All the live streams, I guess, went down.
So send the modem to YouTube, to Google.
Yeah, not the bat, but thank you for the 10, Bad Adam 12. Not the Batman. Yeah, I think this is the same movie Shia had receipts when she tried to hang him out to dry, saying he did something. Well, what my understanding is that Shia LaBeouf, like, he was cast, he would have been much better than Harry Styles. The problem is, and I couldn't name a song or even the band that Harry Styles is in. I don't know it. Huh?
One Direction.
One Direction. All right. That's I've heard of it, and I've heard of it only because the little note in my head is never listen to them. But he's too, I think he's too good looking and he's too likable. He's too likable in his performance. I think Shia LaBeouf could have played it with much more nuance. So so there you go. Yeah, but my understanding is that Florence Pugh, because of Shia's reputation, wanted an intimacy coordinator, and Olivia Wilde was like, "Oh, we don't really need that," and then ended up firing him. And I don't know. You know what? I don't care about any of that. I don't care about the gossip. I don't care that Olivia Wilde had an affair on the set that ruined her marriage and ended up with Harry Styles, and now they're no longer together. Mm-hmm. I don't care about any of that stuff. It's gossip, BS, doesn't matter to me. I'm going to judge the film. Now, we're looking at the film. It's so, like, if you really, it'd be great, watch the first 2/3 of this movie and then walk out. And then make up your own version of what's actually happening in the movie, because I guarantee it's better. In addition, like how they even reveal it with like these weird sort of Clockwork Orange, like things is just, it's so ridiculous. I'm going to get to your comments here. So we got a lot of good ones here. Dave T. Geek. Shia wanted to rehearse and Florence didn't because of COVID. So Shia backed out because he wasn't going to be in a film without rehearsing. Fair enough.
Yeah,
Not the
I think I
bad
heard
man.
that one too.
Replying to Ramina Jones, because Stepford Wives is a general comment on conformity from everyone involved. It was in all directions, not in one direction, so to speak. There we go. Daniel D, who's a member. I get the feeling the title is a condescending male line. Yeah, it is. Don't worry, darling. Yeah, it is. Like with this movie, like I can't imagine going on a date and seeing this film. If you're on no, I'm serious. Literally, if you're on a date and you go to see this movie and, your girlfriend and or wife drags you to see it, because I don't think there's any way a guy is going to go see this film, unless, it's your, like for us, it's our job. Although Alan, you failed in your duty.
Yeah, I know. Well, part of it was my wife wants to see it, and she literally wants to.
What did I tell you? Your wife wants to see it.
Yeah.
You want to see it?
This is the thing. I wish filmmakers and stars would stop doing publicity for movies from now on.
Right.
It's like, I will be honest, everything leading up to this, all the behind the scenes stuff just turned me off to the movie. And,
it did.
And by watching the trailer what you're ultimately in for.
Harry Styles could never play the Star Wars theme with plungers on his body. True. He could never do that.
Look, there's a reality here, though. But if Shia LaBeouf was in the movie, it's not making as much money as it would since Harry Styles is in the movie.
True. Davina Duckworth, talk nerdy to me. All right. Jamie or Jaime. I don't know. Okay. So the villain is incels and toxic masculinity. Yawn. 100%. And it's so on the nose. Like from the time like Florence Pugh, like she sits at the head of the table to kind of take over and kind of school everybody. Something weird is going on. Something weird is, and then she sort of attacks Chris Pine, who's basically Chris Pine's character has built this virtual world. He's the architect, so to speak. So it's like it's like a chick flick version of The Matrix is what this is. And but it's so weird because when she breaks out, the real world is so awful, but she has agency in the real world. She can go work an interminable number of hours at the hospital and be exhausted all the time and come home to her loser husband who plays video games all day. But it's just so on the nose. It just seems like some fantasy of a girl in high school or college who just took a class on feminism. Mm-hmm. It's sort of, that's how, like, that's the level of depth. So sorry about that. I had to cough there. Max One Up just became a member. Thank you, Max One Up. Retro Nerd Girl. Love having Retro Nerd Girl here. Glasses equals nerdy. I can check that one off. It will make a great movie trope. Yeah, it is.
It works for men now too. So.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you've got glasses. That means you're a nerd. I mean, that's like an old one, but yeah. And BMO Better says feminist Tron. Yeah, it is. It's a feminist Tron. And oddly enough, Olivia Wilde was actually very good in the Tron Legacy movie. I thought she was good. And I do believe I'm gonna defend her for a second. I do believe that she's a very talented director. I wasn't convinced, and then really what she did, what really failed here is the twist in the movie. The twist in the movie is the biggest weakness of Don't Worry, Darling. It's absolutely one of the stupidest twists in what could have been a great film, and it's embarrassing. I don't see how. I don't know. I'd love to hear other people discuss it, and Alan, I want to hear your when you go to see it with your wife, because literally I can imagine if you go see this movie on a date, right? Okay, you go see this movie on a date. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to be sitting in the theater, and your date is going to be cross-armed like this and just going like, yeah. That's what's going to be happening.
Yeah.
Let's see. CD Stein 69. I'm glad for $4.99 and a member. Thank you. I'm glad Barbarian is playing at the Dolby Experience Theater this weekend, so I can avoid seeing this and enjoy a good movie. Barbarian is great. If you have not seen it yet, CD Stein 69. I've seen it 3 times in the theater. Barbarian is fantastic. It's not filled with any sort of like woke agenda at all. It's just very good story, but it is modern in this sense. For the first about third of the film is this very awkward exchange between, these two characters, man and a woman, who are double booked. Excuse me. They're double booked at an Airbnb, and how they play that out. So it's like, it's not woke, but it's also like patently aware that it's like, this is an awkward situation. I don't want you to feel unsafe. Like it handles it so well. And there are other things in the movie. When Justin Long's character enters the picture, it's great. Like, so yeah, I don't want to say much more about Barbarian. I'm not going to ruin the twists in that at all. Someone in the chat says, so it's a breakup movie. It's actually the perfect, so glad you said that. It's a perfect breakup movie. It is an absolutely perfect breakup movie. And VDR is now a member. Thank you for that. Awesome. Want Biscuits. I don't know why everyone here hates feminism. I'm all for women being on top. I saw what you did there. Look, I also think that, I think that there is, definitely, I just think that there is a level of feminism now that is just, there's sort of like the feminism, yeah, women should have equal opportunity. Who's against that? I'm not against that. Equal opportunity, equal pay, all those things, right? Like who's against those things? None of those things. When it creeps into the reason my life is terrible is because of men, and because of this I hate men, and society would be better without men. When you cross that line into a hateful form of feminism, that's where I'm out. So, and that's kind of the type of feminism that you see is being pushed in this movie. It's just straight up, all men are bad. All men are all the men are the villains in the movie, or end up being the villains by the end, right? It's just, and the problem is those ideas spread, and it just creates a further divide between the sexes. It was years ago, almost 10 years ago, when not quite 10 years ago, but when, there were so many articles coming out, dating is broken. Male and female relationships they're going through something. And now it's just, man, for every friend of mine that is single now, I feel for, I don't know how they date. They tell me these horrific stories of dating. There are all sorts of checklists that one needs to meet in order to date. Infinite Main, my best guy friend, keeps trying to drag me to this. Think he might be trying to tell me something. You should see it. At least you can complain about it. Correct, Alan. Marketing these days kills the hype, says John Manalang. Yeah, I think that these actors, they're just not well coached in terms of what to say. And they get baited by the journalists who basically ask them, when did you stop beating your wife types of baiting questions, right? So when did the feminist stuff like they get into the this movie is anti-patriarchy, anti-male, anti-marriage, anti like traditional lifestyle, anti-family, like all of those things. So there you go, Zach.
See, I think to your point, I don't think they're being coached not to say these things. I think they're being encouraged to be woke. They're being encouraged to virtue signal, and for some reason, Hollywood feels like that's what we as an audience wants. You know, we want to, you know, yeah. Please tell us you're diverse. Please tell us you're against the patriarchy. You know, we'll go see your movie, and we won't. And
Zach Trammell for 10. Thank you for that. Love what you guys do. Thank you for this channel. Thank you. That's awesome. A night for $9.99. Do you think this is all because she surrounds herself by weak men and the only other views she gets of so-called strong men is on social media? No, I think it's really just a prevailing attitude in Hollywood. The future is female, the force is female, all that stuff. And I'm not against more women being in the industry in places where they have not normally been. I don't think that's a bad thing. What I want to hear is honest storytelling. Honest storytelling instead of tripe like this. Because if you reversed this, you'd be getting, this is where, like, how do I know something just doesn't feel right? It's because when you reverse it, it doesn't feel right. If you reverse it, and this was a very anti-female, very misogynistic, I wouldn't like it either. Okay. So there you go. Dave T. Geek, Shia wanted to rehearse and Florence. Okay. I think. Sorry about that. Yeah. More comments here from North Jersey. I'm all for equal opportunity, but that opportunity should come with equal liability, not the current, sure, she failed, but she tried in a man's world and her failure is acceptable. Guys, work harder. Yeah, fair enough. Gabriel Quiroga for 5. Honestly, I wanted to give the movie a try. I thought it was a psychological thriller on par with Cure for Wellness or Vivarium. Oh, very good films. Cure for Wellness. I really love Cure for Wellness. Check that out in Vivarium. I don't want to be shamed. Yeah. The only way I would recommend seeing this movie, and we have 369 people watching on the stream right now. Gabriel, thank you for your comment, which I think 369. What does it tell me you need to do? Slap that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Oh, wow. Oh, darn. We went up into the 370s. We're not 369. Anyways, Gabriel, thank you for your comment. Yeah, it's just, and I know like every woman wants to see this movie. I think a lot of it because of the design, you know, Harry Styles is in it, right? You've got like, but it's also the production design. It's have to a shout out like he watches the channel, but the cinematographer is fantastic in this. It's Matty Lebatique, and I was on a panel with him once at Slam Dance. He is a wildly talented cinematographer, and his work is always chef's kiss. Great cinematographer. She really, you know, she makes Olivia Wilde look good. She sure picked a good cinematographer, but I got to give her credit. Except it's the weakness is in like what they decided the story was supposed to be and the reveal. The sound of one man laughing. Don't insult Tron like that. And Zach Trammell became a new member. Thank you for that, Zach. We appreciate it. Hadwell, there is a difference between being pro-woman and being anti-man. Modern feminism, I think, isn't pro-woman. It's purely anti-man. Bingo. That's what this is. It's completely anti-male. There's no balance to it at all.
No, it's revenge. It's resolving the injustice. You know, in order to keep the scale from tipping too far the one way, you got to tip it all the way the other way. And as you say, instead of finding balance.
Well, that's why I see like a lot of people that I see on social media because I really don't use it all that much other than to like promote stuff that we're doing at Film Threat or various projects I'm involved in, or just sort of keep up with what I'm doing. I had a new Film Courage video drop yesterday. So if you go to Film Courage, I did a video. You won't believe it. I did a video on RRR. I did a video on RRR. So there you go. But yeah, Hadwell, you really nailed it. That's what it is. It's anti-male. And I'll see on social media, and I see people kind of like promoting, sort of progressive ideas and views. And I think to myself, the way that they're promoting it by mostly a lot of times attacking people, being cruel, saying horrible things about, say, another person, assuming it's an actual person. And I think to myself, do you actually want progress, or do you want revenge? Because what it feels like a lot of people are looking for is revenge.
Yeah.
They want to hurt other people.
And that goes across the board. Racism, homophobia. It's not that you want acceptance anymore. It's you want revenge. You still have to make up for all those centuries of slavery that only white people did.
Yeah. So another comment here. MK Ultra 3, art direction isn't good enough to support a movie. Yeah, it isn't. It's a waste of talent on trash like Wild Thing. I will say this though. What's funny is I've never turned on a movie more quickly than I have on Don't Worry, Darling, where I was into it. I'm like, what is going on in this idyllic society? We know things aren't perfect. Excuse me. We know things aren't perfect. What is really going on? When it's revealed what's really going on, it's incredibly, incredibly unsatisfying. Bethel Game says, RRR, skull! And VDR says, I actually broke up with a girlfriend in a movie theater. I think it was Kingdom of Heaven with Orlando Bloom. Ha! It's good. It's good. And A Night for $19.99. Books for Marine Corps Son. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Extreme Ownership. Jacko Willink and Leif Babins. The Dichotomy of Leadership by Jacko Willink and Leif Babins, and Welcome to the Universe by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Life-changing. Yeah, I like to read a book a week. The only way I'm able to accomplish that is I read a lot of audiobooks. I'm sorry. I'm very well listened, as I like to say. Some people say they're well read. I'm well listened. But I get audiobooks and I listen to them when I'm in the car, if I'm not listening to a podcast or YouTube. Jaime says, Los Angeles is the only place I've lived where that attitude was shown openly to me, and I was just expected to take it. Yeah, it's weird. Like in LA, in particular in LA, of a certain demographic, I would say this is more prevalent amongst younger people. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's bizarre. And John Wahlbecker is back. There is a ton of nuance in the feminism debate that is missed when you just say the entire concept is represented by the most extreme elements. Well, the problem is that like this movie represents the most extreme element. So there you go. Patrick Lemire says, I disagree about design. I didn't really love Blade Runner 2049, but I have 2 books about its production design. Yeah. I think it's fair enough. I also like the soundtrack to Blade Runner 2049. There's just that story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick Bass.
Wrong. I see movies because they're beautiful. I don't necessarily care about the plot.
Yeah. Chris, there were so many movies with a female lead that were great, but without being woke. Yes, I can name a lot of them. The Wizard of Oz with Judy Garland. Gone with the Wind. There's one of the greatest moments in cinema history is Scarlett O'Hara holding a turnip. That's all she can find to eat is a freaking withered turnip. I'll never go hungry again. What a great moment. So Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. You know, I mean, you don't need to be a strong woman. You don't need to hate men to be a strong woman. You can just be a strong woman. And you don't need to act like a man to be a strong woman. You can just be a strong woman.
You don't need to hate to be strong. I think that's ultimately what it is.
It's been conflated into this thing of like, oh, it must be, yeah. Chris, there's so many movies with a female lead that were great without being woke. Elizabeth Kate Blanchett, Woody Allen gave women precedent before this new age feminist BS. Well, there you go. Leroy Russell, thank you again for 10. Woke is not about equality. It's about switching who is in the believe is in power. Thus swapping strong white males in all shows to POC women or LGBTQ. It's about toppling and replacing. That's part of it for sure.
I think it's a big part of it. I think the pursuit of power is it's basically the sin of humanity right now. And it doesn't matter who attains the power. It's this desire to want power.
Yeah, it's so weird that it's been positioned completely differently, but it really is about just like about pushing out people who've been in positions for some time. And I just think that what you do is you just add more chairs to the table. Mm-hmm. Some people think you have to like be anti a certain thing or push people out. And so you're right. You're right about that, Leroy Russell. There's actually a movie opening next week that I'm debating whether or not I should go see.
Which one is this?
Bros. I like the lead actor. I think he's very funny, but I have no interest in a gay romantic comedy. I just don't.
No, well, I mean, ultimately the question is, was it made for you?
Yeah, I don't think it's made for me. There's
nothing wrong with a movie not being made for a broad audience.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. Like, you know what? More power to you. If there's an audience for that movie and you can make it successful, that's fine. That's great. There are a lot of things that are not for me, right? But yeah, Leroy Russell, thank you for that reminder and clarification. JTP RX is a member. While describing one of the characters as a Jordan Peterson type person, and the way she describes who she thinks Jordan Peterson represents just makes the movie not credible. 100%. She in interviews she's talked about, I based it on this Jordan Peterson guy, and it's like she clearly does not know anything about Jordan Peterson. Has never watched a talk by Jordan Peterson. He's really he really is about. There are just so very few places that I really feel bad for young men. Where are your male role models? Where are your masculine role models espousing good values? Where are your male role models to tell you, like, you know, here are better ways to act that will lead to a more successful life?
I mean, I will say that what she said about Jordan Peterson pretty much shut me off to this movie completely.
Yeah, his 12 Rules for Life is a great book. Tells you how to be a better person. How he has been vilified as someone somehow evil when all he's trying to do is inspire young men to better themselves this just tells me that there is an agenda at foot, and to try to take the ideas, hey, argue about the ideas, but to slander this man, to mischaracterize him is BS. It also tells me it's so typical of people in Hollywood that have an opinion about something they know nothing about. That's kind of, you know, what I'm used to when you hear it's God, I saw this great meme the other day. I'll have to post it on our community tab. It was just like, be sure to dispose of celebrities' opinions appropriately. And it's a picture of someone just putting a piece of paper in the garbage. Yeah. So thank you.
Peterson's talk about the patriarchy is life-changing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It is, it brings such perspective to that subject.
And we've reached another milestone, over 420 people watching right now. I'm going to get to your comment in a second. 420 people watching right now. Please slap that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. You can count on like something like this.
Finish him.
Oh, my jeans. Back to your comments here. Jamin D for 20 says, we have seen thrillers where women were led and her boyfriend husband turns out to be the villain or conspirator and she has to survive. Hell, the entire B movie genre in late 90s till 2000s is filled with it. Did anyone complain? No. Having said that, this is very different. This is an extreme version of this where it's made very clear Harry Styles is a quote incel. He is a nerdy, unattractive, bespectacled gamer who's trying to control his wife. It's way more over the top. And it's way more over the top than that. Like those thrillers, fine. Yeah, you're right. People didn't complain. I think now the agenda is right like in your face. So Jamin D for 10 goes on to say, there are ways to make make female-led movies. There are ways to make female-led movies, and there are ways to make propaganda movies. And these people seem to have forgotten that concept completely. And John Wahlbecker comes back with a comment. I don't think very highly of Jordan Peterson. I don't listen to what he says. I look at what he does. That's how my opinion has developed so low for Peterson. I don't know what he's done that is. I think he argues very passionately.
Yeah, he's overly confident.
He's a little overly confident. I don't have a problem with that. I think that I look at the ideas that he espouses more than anything. I've seen some of his talks and Q&As. And when there are so few, where are the heroes for young men now? I feel sorry for anyone raising a son now, especially with the way schools have been going. You know, it's just, I just feel really, really sorry for young men. And, you know, there should be 10 different versions of Jordan Peterson, at least trying to instruct young men, like how to be better people, how to better themselves, whether it's physical health, whether it's nutritional health, whether it's a lot of things. And I have to say, Flaccid Phoenix is now joined, is going to help us in the next hour. Thank you, Flaccid Phoenix. Shout out to Flaccid Phoenix. Subscribe to his channel. And also Glenuccio, who I know he may be on the road listening to us right now. Shout out to Glenuccio. Really helped us out. And he's busy today. So, but John, thank you for your comment. I look at what he says and I look at those ideas and I think that there should be more people discuss the idea, dismantle his ideas, argue the concept. This is the thing that I find really distressing on social media when you see so few people. They go after the person and not the idea, rather than his whole message. You can look it up. Jordan Peterson incels. It's a video. It's short, and he's like, "Hey, get your act together. You're not gonna attract a quality female if you're not like." If you haven't built yourself up. That's a positive message. And I think even our leaders, right? In some way, they kind of set the tone, right? Where are there anyone in leadership, I'm talking about government, saying positive messages about the future, positive messages about where we're going as a country? It's all vilifying types of people. And I always go back to this thing I tweeted out every couple months. Ming the Merciless kept all the kingdoms of Mongo fighting amongst each other to deflect attention from the fact that Ming is the real villain. Here we go. Bill Barclay, has anyone seen Rob Zombie's The Munsters yet?
I just got the DVD or the Blu-ray for it, so I will be watching it this week.
You got the Blu-ray. Why did you get the Blu-ray?
Because they said they emailed me and said, "Do you want it?" And I go, "Yeah." And
okay, Alan, you have to review it next week.
Yeah.
Thank you for that reminder. Now Alan has to watch it, and I don't.
I will watch it. I have it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not hopeful for it, but I'm looking forward to it.
CD Stein 69 for $4.99. Definitely a collective agenda. about Peterson. There's like this agenda to smear him when he's like, hey, like, there's a way to be a man that is a positive thing. Like, look at the men do the most dangerous jobs in society. Like, remember when they portrayed him as the new Red Skull in a Marvel Captain America run? Yeah, the fact that so many people are coming after him to vilify him tells me that he must be saying something right. Bill T, sports is where they are, can't look to Hollywood anymore. This is what I loved about the lessons from sports, because I am a nerd and I would always like my nerdy friends like, why do you watch the NFL? Why do you watch baseball? Here's what I love, and this also used to apply to the military. I don't know that I can 100% say it applies to the military anymore. But the lessons and the takeaways from our U.S. military and from sports is that people can come from all walks of life, all backgrounds, right? Rich, poor, whatever, all ethnicities, whatever, and it's about galvanizing a team toward a goal, no matter what your differences are. That is the lesson that I've always taken away from sports. That's why I find it inspiring. Look at any NFL team, look at baseball teams, or look at any sport, whatever. It's like a bunch of different people putting aside their differences toward a goal. We don't know how to do that anymore. It's extremely distressing.
I want to talk about Asians in football for one moment.
Yeah, well, there are Asians in football.
Yeah. I could count them.
Leroy Russell, you were on fire today. I want to thank you. You must be new. I haven't noticed you in our chat before, but you're here. Leroy Russell for 10. Are you aware of how the woke robbed us in Mass Effect 3? Look up Hillary Joker's sister, Commando Huerta Memorial Hospital. Woke writing robbed us. Dev confirmed this. Yeah, now we're seeing video games that kind of avoided the wokeness, and now it's happening. Luther Talbert for 5. Someone can't win on facts when they simply go after the person and not the ideas. I agree. Whenever I see like, okay, we'll argue with the ideas, debate the ideas. And when I see avoiding debating the ideas and just smearing, like that person is a far blank extremist. Like that person was seen in a photo with this person. Did you know this person did this? This person is a blank phobe. Whenever I see that, I'm like, yeah, but what's the idea we're discussing? Yeah. What is the idea that we're discussing right now? What are we discussing?
Yeah. I mean, if a racist said 2 + 2 is 4, does that make that no longer true?
Well, Alan, you would know the math.
I was just kidding.
I don't know. Soma BT says Asian rant time. Go, Alan, go.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, my parents would much rather have me been a doctor than a football player.
So. Derek Rosenfeld for 5. I haven't seen Don't Worry, Darling, but from what I've heard of the reveal, it sounds similar to the one in The One I Love with Moss and Duplass, a very good flick. There's a way to do this type of story that can work. I just think that because the first, chunk of the movie, the first 2/3 of the movie was such a great setup to a dissatisfying reveal that just, yeah. John Wallbecker says, for 10, says, supporting Asians in football reminded me of one of my favorite players from a few years ago, Scott Fujita. I mean, he was a white dude, but he was adopted by an Asian family. I love stories like that.
Yeah.
I love stories like that.
Yeah.
Like Colin Kaepernick basically was raised, he has white family, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is why I just, whenever I see anything that is intended to divide, and I just like, it was really around 2018, I thought, wow, they're really trying to divide people. Like divide, like name a thing, sex, like gender, like just across race, like across the board, there are just like driving wedges between people. And I think it's incredibly unhealthy for our culture. incredibly unhealthy. And I will not support any kind of messaging or anyone that seeks to divide and not have real conversations or honest conversations. I actually think that things won't change until we have honest conversations, but honest conversations would have to be based on facts we all agree to. And we can't even do that now.
Yeah, Jamie, I mean, that's my biggest problem with the woke movement.
Thanks, John.
It exists to divide. It does not exist to solve the problem or to bring people together. Its sole purpose is division.
Shoot, we don't have a lot of time left.
Yeah, I know.
We have our special guest.
We got to talk about She-Hulk.
Yes, Jamie 10. What I don't understand is the idea that these entertainers are so pure in their behavior and thoughts that they are now here to educate us. Yeah, it's that elitist attitude that's always turned me off. Of like, I'm in the entertainment industry. I know better than you. I know better than you. And I noticed this when I first moved to Los Angeles in the early 1989. I moved here, started to meet people kind of in the 90s, the early 90s. And there was definitely this attitude that I'm like, so you think your job is more important than a plumber or other types of, jobs that exist that are important for society to function? You make entertainment, okay? And it's like that one studio executive who got so sick of everything being an emergency that he put up a sign behind his desk, big sign behind his desk. It says, "Relax. We make shit people don't need. We make shit people don't need." And look, fewer and fewer people are going to the movies. That is just a fact. I mean, whatever you say is number one at the box office. All of the box office figures, at least starting from August, have been less than previous years. Fewer people are going to the movies. The habit was broken. Movies are less special because of streaming. There are movies we see on streaming that probably should have been at the theater. 13 Lives by Ron Howard, a movie I recommend on Amazon Prime Video right now. Watch that instead of Rings of Power.
Yeah. No, I keep saying it, but Walt Disney was always on the verge of bankruptcy. It was in his vested interest to produce films and television that people would watch and that they would give him his money so that he could continue his company and build it. And we've lost that. The studios are not afraid of not making money anymore. And there's going to come a point where they're going to realize they have nothing left. Yeah.
Leroy Russell just became a member. Thank you for that. We'll be chatting soon, I assume. Cardinal Sin for 10. Chris, you've got mail. I'm coming out to LA early October. Want to hang out with Alan and Chris for a coffee, beer, and find the best kosher deli in the area. Kidding. Be in touch. Hell yeah.
There's some good ones, though.
Hell yeah. Early October might be rough for me because I'm trying to finish my movie. I spent all day yesterday going through sound mix notes. Sort of the mundane part, but making the movie sound great, which I love. Brock Samsonite says, but you're only one season away from your Heisman Trophy, Alan. Crouching Alan, hidden nips, says Ferd to the Future. And John Manalang says, Alan, you must rant on behalf of us Asians, brother. Yeah, true. I mean, whenever they talk about diversity, I feel like that doesn't include Asians.
Yeah.
It only includes one ethnicity.
I could rant all day about that one.
It just, I find that sort of like, oh, so it's only one ethnicity that, when you say diversity, it's just, I find that bizarre.
Well, I'll give you a quick rant. I mean, if my daughter wants to go to an Ivy League school, she has to outperform all the white kids in her school to do it. Right,
really?
Is my rant for the day.
Wow, man, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, let's talk briefly.
Actually, maybe we should go to Rings of Power.
Okay, I fell asleep watching the episode last night. So why don't you talk about it, Alan?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what we saw?
What we saw was more of the same, more of the boring. I cannot believe this series is just not going anywhere. I mean, we're setting up for some big battle, and I'll be honest with you, I'm so having a hard time following this story. They're setting up these chess pieces that just doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and you know, and so we got more of the same. We've thankfully we're back with the Harfoots.
Thankfully, they're the most boring part.
Oh my god! Oh, I gotta tell you, there's a line in there where Nori is talking to the stranger. She's talking about the nature of how the Harfoots have to constantly be on the move in order to gather resources like food. And in one season, they will go to the great orchards where they will pick apples, plums, apricots, and carrots. You know, because carrots grow on trees. You know, this I don't know. I am yeah, we talked about this this Mulan scene with Galadriel, and it was just so comical. You know, they're trying, you know, this I'm at a loss for words because I'm having such a hard time just wanting to invest myself in this story, and I feel like we're not it's not getting better. You know, so Galadriel and the other Bronwyn, I mean, apparently they're the ones who have to kind of muster the men together to fight evil. You know, I'll talk about this fight scene. It's so choreographed. You know, there's no sense that there's a real fight going on here, but it's just about showing these great moves. And this is where it's slowly losing this audience. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but I'm just so frustrated with the show. And what frustrates me more is the fact that talking about Rings of Power is what gets us the greatest views on our channel. Yeah, what was it? Okay, so this is the thing that I realized about where we're headed with this series. It's starting to head into Star Wars territory where it seems like the great evil is darkness. You know, it's this general concept of darkness, like we're talking Jedi versus the Sith here. Right. You know, there was a line that Galadriel said where, you know, in order to truly understand the light, you have to touch darkness. And to me, you know, if Tolkien is the Catholic that we all say he is, this idea of darkness prevailing over light is a concept that no Catholic would ever hold. No Christian would ever hold. You know, light always overcomes darkness. And it just seems like they're putting their whole basket into this, that there is a force that is taking over the entire world and that we have to defeat the force. And so that even lessens, you know, Sauron's position in this. When you watch the original series, the original Lord of the Rings, you understand that it's not darkness and light that is a problem, but it's power. It is that Sauron, you know, is looking to gain power. The whole reason the world is in the state it is because men, elves, dwarves all sought power, and ultimately, it is Sauron who wants to garner all the power in the world to control all. It's power. It's not darkness and light. And so, yeah, it is, as Holy Hand Grenade says, it's a total crap. And, you know, this series has no legs. And to think that it's going to go to a second season based on these ideas, Amazon is wasting a good amount of money. And I'm sorry, that's, you know, I'm just so frustrated with this series.
Well, I like I said, I fell asleep watching it. So I don't think it's fair to give a full review, but I think it says something that I fell asleep watching it. This is the second episode in a row I've fallen asleep. There's something about it that is just not compelling. Did Gore just vomit? No. I went to get more water. I'm thirsty. So there you go. Let's go through some of these comments here.
Yeah.
Rings of Power is the anti-Lord of the Rings, says Lucy Mao. Or is it Meow?
Yeah. It is. I mean, look, again, I just watched Fellowship of the Rings with my daughter. And the theme there, it was always about power. The ring represents power. And every single character in that series, in the movie, is tested by how they would handle having ultimate power. And that's very different than what Lord of the Rings is presenting us and the themes behind it.
Let's go to some comments. In 15 minutes, we have a filmmaker joining us. His new movie is Section 8. It's director Christian Sesma. Dolph Lundgren is in the movie. Really great cast. Look up the trailer to Section 8. It is out on video on demand today. We will talk to the director, so get ready with your questions. Scott says Alan is absolutely correct. They are revising the very foundations of Tolkien's world symbolically. The morality of Rings of Power is more Nietzsche than Christ. Holy Hand Grenades, who's a member. I hear a lot of people saying they fall asleep trying to watch the show. Yeah, it's so funny, like, because I'm watching the show, you know, I'm watching the show because I feel like I have to now. But I'll watch like House of the Dragon and I can't wait to watch it. And I'm hanging on every word. And it could be the most seemingly on the surface boring, most innocuous scene where people are talking in a room, but things are happening. The story's progressing. And then I'll ask my girlfriend, because we watch it every Sunday night, like, hey, do you want to watch The Rings of Power? She just says no. She tried to watch one episode and couldn't watch it. Not the Batman. Alan, at least let the fact Bezos spent $1 billion on this to entertain you, a fool in his money.
Yeah.
Bird of the Future. No thanks, Alan. Don't even want to watch after episode 2.
I don't blame
Wiki. Galadriel will fall in love with Sauron. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah. You know what's going to happen with the failure of Rings of Power? I'm going to lose free shipping on my Amazon deliveries.
Well, that's what's weird is, hey, I signed up for Amazon to get free shipping. I order a lot of stuff from Amazon. I find it to be a useful service. I didn't realize it came with like a free streaming service.
I know. But the thing is, they're going to lose so much money on Rings of Power that the only way they can get it back is by charging shipping.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what's about to happen. So how is the plunger play in Rings of Power? And John Wahlbecker coming in with, of course, an alternate opinion. I mean, General Darkness as the enemy is pretty pure and core Tolkien.
Yeah, but
Romina Jones.
But it seems like they're just fighting this idea as opposed to like this darkness is invading. Yeah, okay.
Romina Jones, who is making the Film Threat crew watch this? That's not fair. Well, I think it's more like Gary from Nerdrotic and Midnight's Edge. There are other shows that I appear on weekly, and we always talk about it. And I feel like in order to talk about it, I have to have seen it. So I'm qualified to talk about it. But I've had to rewatch at least the last couple episodes. I'll have to rewatch the new episode later because I fall asleep. But yeah, and it's also, I mean, at least if our audience wants us to keep watching it, we will keep watching it. But there you go. Fear the Turtle 21. Have you heard from enough friends who are Tolkien fans that R.O.P is trash? Instead of watching, I just started reading Lord of the Rings for the first time. Love the movies, but I've had zero interest in Rings of Power. Yeah, I really do think I should read it. And there is an audiobook version, my understanding, and it's very good.
It's dramatized probably, right?
Well, they'll put in like a little music and whatever, just like they. But Kelly Rhodes is a new member. Thank you for that, Kelly. We appreciate it. So, damn you, Sauron. You made us have to bury carrots now, says Not the Batman. Zach Tremmel says, God bless you guys for watching so I don't have to.
Yeah.
Carrots grow on trees and apples grow in dirt, says Amanda Nowicki. Is that true? I mean, it's true in Tolkien. It's not true.
Yeah, apparently.
My God. Yeah, I saw the part with the Harfoots and I'm like, why is this subplot in here? Where is this leading?
Exactly.
Like, I do think there are too many B stories, and unless they all connect in some way, they don't directly connect. You know, in Game of Thrones, I believe that all the stories were connected because it was about the throne. It was about who is going to be on the throne and positions of power and houses fighting. Everything seemed to connect in Game of Thrones. The stories here do not seem to directly connect they don't seem to directly connect, except for the fact that evil will affect them all. Yeah. And sort of the one time we saw all the characters kind of was when that asked, no one seems to bother to ask, like, hey, this homeless hobo guy came down in a meteorite. What is he again? And he like has no memory. It doesn't, nothing really makes sense.
Yeah. And then the whole Numenor. Yeah. The only reason I know it's significant is because Gary talks about it all the time. But in the show, they're not saying much about Numenor other than it's another country on an island somewhere. Yeah. And that I don't get the sense of its significance nor of its weight in the series.
John Wolbecker says Andy Serkis reads the audiobooks and does voices for all the characters. Yeah. It's tremendous. Another book that does that is The Secret History of Star Wars, an audiobook that's like, I think it's over 20 hours. And the guy who reads it does all the voices. He does like George Lucas and Harrison Ford and Irvin Kershner and Lawrence Kasdan. It's really good. Yeah. In fact, Stephen King once a year puts out a top 10 list of the best audiobooks, and it's based on the quality of course, the literature itself, and then also who reads it. And it's a list worth paying attention to if you're new to audiobooks. I feel like I just spent so much time on a screen. Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to do is like have another screen or a book in front of me. So I like to listen to audiobooks. Yeah. Thank you, John, for that recommendation. Guess I have to get that now. Anonymous, go Sauron. And Bimo Better says the Breefoots. I've seen like these like shots of like Brie Larson will be, look, they just show her feet. She has kind of larger feet than one might expect.
Yeah.
So yeah. And Paul Fisher says Rings of Power. There's no story.
Yeah, I will say I was kind of tepid on House of the Dragon. I am full in. I am enjoying this show right now.
I think it's because Game of Thrones ended in a dissatisfying way. It just conflicts were kind of like wrapped up so quickly.
Yeah.
And has to be rushed.
Yeah. But I never saw Game of Thrones, and I love the storytelling that's going on, especially at the back end of the series as it's going on.
Well, this is going to be a crucial week for House of the Dragon.
Because everyone grows up.
Because exactly. Rhaenyra grows up. It's going to change the show. I almost feel like what they should have done is had like a mid-season break, like do the first 5 episodes of House of the Dragon, take a break, then do the second 5, maybe 3 months, like almost to literally time has passed. To do it mid-season, like right the very next week, I think it's going to be jarring.
Yeah, and then I'm kind of curious because it got picked up for a second season.
Yes,
so it makes me wonder, how it felt like this is a one and done deal, but it looks like now they're going to extend this story out more.
Well, they're going to tell the full end of the story, is what it is. I just think that HBO Max is smart, and I do think that what House of the Dragon is attempting to do is correct some of the mistakes that they made with Game of Thrones, which is too many storylines, right? So many storylines that you get confused where characters, B-plots would disappear for a season. Or they would just like week to week. It was like, well, this happened last week, but now those characters aren't back. 2 episodes later, the characters are back. What were they doing 3 episodes ago? Like, it was really hard to keep track. They were constantly introducing new characters. And I think Game of Thrones was, look, I got into it, but, and I was really into it. And then I thought the end was like the thing is this, I never read the book. So I feel like maybe I was kind of safe from not being as disappointed, not having read the books. But
and Martin never finished the books, or
yeah, George R.R. Martin never finished the books. He should finish the books. He should partner with somebody, finish those books, because he's just going to be plagued with it forever that he never finished it.
Well, the thing that stuck out to me the most of this last issue is this series. You've got diversity, you've got feminism, and now you have LGBT storylines, and they're all integral to the story. They're not thrown in there just for throwing it in there. They weaved it into the story, and it makes sense. And it's like this is how you're supposed to tell these kind of stories.
Yeah, I like that whole conversation with Rhaenyra on the beach. Mm-hmm. He's saying, you know, someone likes goose and someone likes, you know, she's drawing this, you know, it's all subtext. She's talking about sex. It's not talking about food. And it's a great conversation. And they have they're going to like, we're going to go into this marriage with an understanding that you do you and I'm going to do me. And that's it. And that's kind of how this works. And
then they flipped it on its head.
They flipped it on its head. And that's where I like that. To me is like, I feel like what House of the Dragon has done is very organically inserted diversity, but not in a way that seems ham-fisted, pandering. These are, you know, and it's not like, you know, we haven't had gay characters in, you know, Game of Thrones, right? Like they've been in there, but in here, very we'll see how that plays out now.
They didn't just say, hey, we need a gay character, let's just throw him in. No, let's not only bring in a gay character, but make who he is an integral part of this story moving forward.
Exactly. Cardinal Sin for 2 says, I'm pretty sure House of the Dragon is an anthology series. Yes, it's about, as I understand it, it's about the fall of House Targaryen, kind of how we got to the beginning of, I mean, it's set, at least when it started, it was 173 years before the events of Game of Thrones. And House Targaryen is a fallen house at that time. And everybody's kind of happy about it. You know, this house that basically terrorized for years other houses, their dominance through, you know, having dragons dominated for centuries has now fallen. And it's like, all right, with that power vacuum, who's going to sit on the Iron Throne?
Yeah. You know, the thing, okay, so we're totally getting into House of Dragon review here.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
To me, the best part of that episode was, I forget the king's name, Paddy Considine. But he's laying there and he's asking, what will history say of me? And that stuck out to me so much because it's this idea of he is such a weak king.
Right.
You know, he talks about never having to have gone to war, never having had battle. And it just shows what kind of king he has become because of that. And this idea of adversity building character, he has not had that adversity. And so him being the king is a reflection of that and the direction that the story is going on. And I thought that is like, wow, that right there is the heart of this story.
Well, yes, and also Daemon is such a great character.
Yeah. And he's taking advantage of that.
Matt Smith. Fur to the Future, Dragons makes Rings of Power look like Shakespeare. And Dempsey says, did you see that like button right over there? Smash it. Yes, smash the like button. It will help us to get, you know, it'll help us get recommended. It'll help, you know, we'll you know, help us show some videos. Here, this is here's a video of me. I had the greatest time ever at Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I went there and it was amazing. Well, okay, I'll give it a try. It's great. That may be kind of how I feel about Rings of Power right there. is that's why I showed it. We're in it now. Keep going. House of the Dragon. All right, fine.
I know. We gotta end on an up note.
Yeah. Is it okay? Cool. Well, here we go. Well, we're going to talk about it for like 2 more minutes because we have a special guest joining us at the top of the hour. Let's go through these. Let's go through these chats here. Leroy Russell for 2. We also don't want alphabet in every show.
Yeah.
I think it's like, it's just, it doesn't need to be, is, you know, what my thought is. It doesn't have to be. If it's organic, fine. If it isn't, how about no? So there you go. John Wallbacker says, see, Chris, I don't disagree with everything. I did the exact same thing when I tried blue milk for the first time. Yeah, I was not a fan. And Bethel Games says, Chris Gore is swallowing. All right. Yes, Patty is Viserys.
Okay.
Patty as Viserys has been a welcome surprise. He plays it excellent, says John Manaling. Also, the other thing, did you see someone put out a meme of just sort of a graphic they made of how much he's aged between episodes.
Yeah.
Just look for it.
Well, I mean, I think the stress alone is aging him faster than most.
Yeah, and I love it that he's always just like, he really took each episode, and there's just subtle things in his performance. He's so good as Viserys. I love it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, him playing super old is going to be interesting.
Yeah. And I don't think, I have a prediction, and I haven't read the books, but I don't think he lasts the season. I don't think he'll last the season. Just a thought. Soma BT has become a YouTube member. Well, thank you for that. Go on that members tab, look up all the members content. We're going to be posting more. We post like weird pictures and video. We're going to be doing a members only stream where it's just going to be us chatting, having conversation about whatever you want to talk about. So that'll be a blast. Go party time says Patty brought so much personality to it. The aging and the disease is tearing him apart. Really, he's just, it's great to see him every episode just get worse.
I know. I mean, that's the thing in good storytelling, interesting characters. You know, and tell different stories with these characters. You know, don't make them all cliches constantly.
Precisely. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. Let's keep going here with the comments.
I think it'll be weird to see new actors playing Rhaenyra and Alicent.
Yeah. True.
Okay.
True. All right. More comments here as we're waiting for our let's see. Soma BT became a member. All right, I got that one. Fur to the future. There is a meme where Viserys' face is. Oh, I saw that one. There's a meme where Viserys' face is on Ben Affleck when he's smoking, looking stressed. LMAO, left my ass up. Yeah. Oh my God, I saw that. It's so good. That whole like Ben Affleck where he's just like, he's smoking a cigarette and just like so defeated. So, yeah. Lubitch Touch Me says, when will the members only stream be? We will announce it. It will likely be on an off day, like a Tuesday, probably like a Tuesday afternoon. We'll announce it far enough in advance that you'll have time to plan, and it'll be public for members. And you can even post, if you're unable to be there live, you can post your question in the chat, and then we'll get to your question. Does that make sense? And it's only going to be for members. Dempsey says, is a member, one of us. Leroy Russell, does Film Threat have a Discord? We do not. Should we start one?
You know, that means we have to manage one.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alan and I, like, both of our attentions are so divided in the sense that Alan is constantly reviewing movies on the, constantly reviewing films. He's, managing also our team that reviews movies. He's going to film festivals and things like D23. Alan is also, he's moderating panels. Aren't you moderating a panel?
Yeah. It's the
next week.
Yeah, I believe you're going to be at one of those too. But it's a kind of a Japanese industry film festival. So it's they're bringing Japanese films and filmmakers to Hollywood, basically to kind of do what the Koreans are doing and make a bigger presence in terms of Japanese dramas, apart from the animes and stuff, to really bring Japanese stories to Hollywood, the entertainment industry, so to speak.
Well, if somebody wants to start a Discord, God, it's just like another thing for because I'm trying to finish my movie, and it's just like I spend my morning working on Film Threat stuff, and then the afternoon is all like film making stuff, and then at night I'm usually at a movie or two, and then sometimes I'll try to watch an indie film in between there. I guess we could start a Discord if I don't have to actually do anything.
So, we're not involved.
As long as we're not involved with the Discord, I'm in favor of that. I have zero sympathy for Viserys. The king should not act like a beta male, says Scott. Well,
I think that's the point. Yeah,
I think that is the point. The fact that, things fall when you don't have like a strong figure in leadership positions. That is very clear. And Gandalf identifies as White Wizard. Uh-oh, there's a name. Gandalf identifies as White Wizard, has become a YouTube member. We thank you for that. When you love the character, but you know what's coming, the performance leaves a stronger impression, says Anvek Distilled Car. Yeah, we all know what's coming. I think you could almost like tell from the first episode, like, oh, yeah, this is gonna, he's basically the architect of his own demise. Is what Viserys like what his fate is.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely the complaint I had going in, and I do like where it's heading, though.
Scott says House of the Dragon is better compared to Rings of Power, but still suffers from a lot of similar problems. Static cameras, shot, reverse shot, static actors, dumping explicit exposition in the small council chamber. Not great. Heinlein says skip Discord and just go to the website. Yeah, we do have a comments section on the website. I mean, it's active depending on the movie, but we maybe should start a Discord. It's just I hear so many horror stories about Discords from other people, and it just becomes like, I feel like what I'm trying to do is like, I'm finishing this movie. I have another movie I'm trying to finish, and then I'm trying to set up another movie. And I feel like that would kind of get away. Yeah. Alan, you are in charge of the Discord.
Yeah, not like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we're trying to start a third show here too.
Yeah, we want to start a third show. The third show that we would start would be kind of like a larger group. We would bring on like other YouTubers and just have a conversation and debate. Kind of like Tuesday Night's Main Event, FNT. We will never be those shows. Whatever show we're going to start is not going to be like that or as close to what they do at all. It'll be a kind of our own version of it where we bring in other voices that are not part of Film Threat to have a conversation. So CD Stein 69 says Discord is a great way to continue the Film Threat community. Not just you guys having to answer or interact as much. We use it for our show, and it's fun to just watch the debate. And we just occasionally chime in. All right, should we start it, Alan?
I know Quartering uses Gilded. I think he's always been up for getting off of the platforms that are too big and too powerful.
Right.
So, I mean, those are definitely discussions we can have, whether it's worth going to a separate platform or not.
One way or another, we will start something. We'll start something when we get past 50,000. We're getting close. Where are we, Alan?
We are 540 subscribers away from 50,000.
Okay. Here's the thing. We passed 50,000. We'll start a Discord. And by start a Discord, meaning we'll just create one and you can go fight there. So, no, we'll do it. Bad Adam 12 became a YouTube member. Thank you, Bad Adam 12. Patrick Lemire, I already lose enough productivity. Of FT Discord might ruin me.
Oh, my God.
All right, don't visit it. Do not become a member of the Discord. Brock Samson, Chris, do you think Disney should have offered Halle Berry the first live-action Princess and the Frog instead of just trying to repackage a story we've grown a bit tired of? 100%. She, like, as an actress, she looks like someone animated her. Right? Am I wrong? Like, I'm not. No. She has an anime look.
I'm telling you,
she's
you
great.
Listen to her, you talk to her, you would say she's Black Ariel. Whether they should have done this or not is debatable, but she's got the personality. My only thing about Princess of the Frog is she's not old enough. I think Tiana Tiana is running her own business. So that's something about her age and her experience in life.
Now, I think I'm just going to reveal to you that our guest is late, and I'm checking my messages. Okay, it's the wrong. It says the backstage is empty. Please advise. What do you? She must. Oh, that's right.
That's right. Okay, yeah, get him the new.
because the stream went down.
Yes.
That explains it.
So he is here. Yeah.
No, he's in the other
Yeah,
one.
he's in the other room.
That's what happened. Okay. Chris, do you, I'm not in favor of the race and gender swaps. I just don't think, I think audiences do not like them generally. It causes unnecessary debate, and it's a huge missed opportunity. It's a huge missed opportunity to tell new stories. There already is an African fable about a black mermaid. That already exists. There is also Gabriella, already exists. Rather than remake The Little Mermaid, perhaps tell a new story and create a whole new character and new merchandising opportunities.
Yeah, and guess what? Little Mermaid, it already exists, and it came out 30 years ago.
And it exists in toy form. And there's a video.
There are rides at Disneyland.
Yeah, there's a video that is out there. I think it's a TikTok or viral video of a young black girl watching the Little Mermaid trailer saying, "That's not Ariel. That's not Ariel." And the whole thing is, people have pointed out that Gabriella is, Gabriella already exists. So Infinite Main says she's definitely pretty good and sounds good too, just not Ariel. I agree with Infinite Main. That's why I feel bad for the actress, right? She's going to get unnecessary attention. Yeah. Which is unfortunate.
I mean, surely you could write a role for her. And
Amanda Nowicki for 2. Would you guys ever review Cyberpunk Edge Runners for 2? Yeah. I played Cyberpunk 2077. It's a great game. And there you go. What about RRR? I just said it, Alfredo Fonseca. Yeah. Well, blaming the guest. No, it was my fault.
Yeah, no.
So what happened?
No, it was YouTube's fault, by the way.
Our publicist is hanging in the wings on the. All of the live streams on YouTube got shut down all at once. About 30 plus minutes into our show, we had to set up a completely new live stream link, and I failed to send the new link to our guest. That is my fault. My apologies. But yeah, YouTube had a major outage this morning that has never happened before. It's bizarre. So, yeah, but let's set this up for our special guest to join us momentarily. And we're gonna go for about another 15 minutes here, and then unfortunately I gotta split. But let's get that started here. Here we go. Christian Sesma is a director who he's a guy that he attended San Diego State University, SDSU. He's self-taught, made his first feature in 2006. Am I reading the bio on IMDb? Yes, I am. But if you look at his roster of films that he has made, all gritty action films, his new film, Section 8, is out on video on demand, or at least if it's not, I will be corrected. If it's not out on video on demand. But
no, it is in theaters and streaming on AMC Plus today.
Okay, all right. So in theaters today in limited release, and you should check out the trailer. The trailer is in the description for this episode, or it will be, because we had to reset up the stream. It's very complicated. Yeah. Very complicated. That's never happened to us. I know it's happened to other streams. It's never happened to us where it happened to everybody all at once, where the stream completely went down. But Christian will be joining us momentarily. And I'm going to find out how long until he gets here.
Should also mention it stars Mickey Rourke, Dermot Mulroney, Dolph Lundgren. We've got a pretty solid cast here.
Yeah. So we'll talk to him. Yeah. I didn't blame the guest. I was kind of and also we were short today. We didn't have a producer at the beginning. This is a day. You know what it is? Mercury's in retrograde. Mercury is in retrograde. It must be. That's a solid cast. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Leroy Russell for 5 says, did you see the little black girl upset at Ariel race swap? Yeah. People don't like race/gender swaps. I think what they want is authentic storytelling. Audiences want authentic storytelling.
Well, I think it's also, if you're remaking a classic, something that we've all watched millions of times and love, and you just change it for arbitrary reasons, you're people don't like change. I hate to say it. People absolutely don't like change. And is the change going to make you money, or is it going to lose you money? And I don't think Disney has figured that one out yet.
Yeah. People don't like race gender swaps. We don't like the canon to be messed with. So there you go. All right. We talked about Christian before. He is a veteran filmmaker, been making features since 2006. His latest movie is Section 8. He's here to join us and answer your questions. He's going to tell us what it's like to work with Dolph Lundgren, because that's going to be my big question. Christian, thank you for joining us on the Film Threat Livecast. Hey, apologies for earlier, the technical mistake.
It's all good, guys. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you joining us. Yeah, all of the YouTube livecast just like went down all at once.
Oh, weird. That's crazy.
Restart the stream, but we're happy that you're here. I know, appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight. Tell us how you put Section 8 together. I shared the trailer with everybody. I want everyone who's watching live, got 350 people watching us live right now.
Nice.
To check out the trailer. But tell us how this whole project came together, and in particular, how you put together such an incredible cast.
Actually, that's really accredited very much to the producer, Brandon Burrows, and they came together. Him and Chad Law, the writer who I'm friends with, who's been a friend for a long time, came to me, and we were just coming out of the pandemic era, right? Of just, there was no bit, Hollywood had really shut down and things were starting to ramp up. And, I had done a couple little flicks during the pandemic, that we're lucky that we did those to keep busy and stuff like that. But this was kind of like the first, kind of real action indie that kind of came my way with a crazy cast and, this really killer script, really. And, they brought to me, I thought it was a really fun, but what really was cool was that for me, dude, it was like, man, I can take this Mission Impossible style actioner, but kind of put a Death Wish, John McClane, everyman quality on it, because that's what, Ryan Quanten's character is. I'm like, that's cool to me. That's something that stood out a little bit and that we can kind of dig in. And it just came. That's how it happened. And then just the execution of it was an interesting thing, because we started it and stopped, and we ended up shooting a lot of it in my hometown and stuff. So it was really fun.
And then, okay, let's talk about the individual cast here. Is it a lot of arm twisting to get these these are veteran action actors too. Dolph Lundgren is just, dude, his hair is the same as when he began his career. It's and I have to admire that.
I know.
What was it like to work with Dolph, and then just also Mickey Rourke and whatnot? Yeah. Just a great cast.
They're all super great, dude. I mean, it's funny. It's like I've been asked this a few times, and the cool thing about it is these guys are such pros, and they, going in with legends, it's always an interesting thing, because you kind of go, man, here are these guys that are legends and icons. I've seen them on the screen myself as a fan 1,000 times. I mean, how many times have I seen, Dolph, Rocky IV and all these, and then Mickey and all this stuff. So, but they always are game when they're doing these indie action movies and indie films. I mean, they understand that this is, and it almost feels like they're a little more invested, because they really want it to work and they're really trying, because they don't want it to, they don't want it to suck, right? So they're like, we're really going to try here. We're not, sometimes, I mean, I've seen stuff where they just phone it in and taking a paycheck and stuff. But I guess I feel fortunate that this wasn't the case, and they all came to play. They all came to give it, and they were all super, super cool, super professional. Mickey, this was our second time around. So, that was an interesting thing. I thought he gave a lot on this one. It was definitely a more emotional thing for him. So it was cool, man. Everybody's really cool, and I kind of keep a very fun, casual set. So I think that definitely helps too.
Did ego ever come into play? Did you ever have to manage your stars?
Yeah, all the time.
You got a lot of questions and comments here in our chat.
Yeah.
So let's go to our chat questions for you. Mike Has Bad Knees says that's a solid cast. And Patrick
I have bad knees too, dude.
Hi, Christian. Scott Slaughterbeck says trailer for Section 8 looks great. Amazing cast.
And the cool thing about the trailer, guys, is like no BS. I don't know if we can cuss on this one, but
go ahead.
BS. Like the trailer is exactly how the movie is. Like it's not like the trailer's crazy action. The movie is crazy action. So it's not like they took the greatest bits and threw it in the trailer and we're like, this is a crazy trailer. The trailer is very indicative of the movie, which is cool.
A question for you, Christian. Did you have a struggle between practical effects versus CGI, or was it clear what you wanted to use?
The cool thing, man, again, like the producer was all about practical effects, and I'm like, awesome, let's do that. It's not, we rarely get that chance a lot of times, for a lot of reasons, insurance reasons, budget reasons, whatever. And I've always, look, dude, I'm a massive like pyromaniac, dude. So ever since I was a kid, like I was always like fireworks or whatever, going to friggin' Mexico all the time. So anytime we get to blow stuff up for real and use real blanks and use real effects, man, it's a blast. So this one, I think we went through 500-600 rounds on this movie at least.
Wow. Let's see. Love the trailer. I am sold. What was the process of making this film? Asks Solomon Thornton.
With the process of making the movie, they came to me with the script. I thought it was a lot of fun. We started packaging it, and we just started going. We shot a piece of it in LA, kind of like a lot of the flashback scene, the same set as American Sniper and those kind of the sets in Santa Clarita. And then we brought it back. I had a movie in between, which is crazy. I shot another movie in between. We had a break because I had a separate scheduling issue. And Dolph had to do Aquaman too. So we had this weird window that we had to shoot a certain piece with Dolph, Mickey, and these guys. And then we had to break because he had a schedule issue. I had a scheduling issue. And then we came back after that and shot all the Scott Adkins, Ryan, all that other pieces and stuff like that for the movie too. And that we shot that here in in the Coachella Valley in Southern California where I live. And that's where we were able to kind of bring a little bit more production value to this as well with like a casino shootout and stuff like that, which was cool.
Cardinal Sin for 5 asks, how did you cast Mickey Rourke and Dolph Lundgren? And what was it like to work with them on set?
Yeah, Mickey, like I said, we done one already before, so it was cool to come back and have some fun. Dolph, the producer, had worked with on this other like a family Christmas movie. It was pretty trippy, and so he was able to get Dolph in that. So, they weren't working at the same time on the set. They don't share scenes together in this particular movie, but it's great, man. It's always a surreal experience as a filmmaker to work with people that you've grown up like watching and idolizing and been a fan of for so long. Super. It's a cool experience.
Cool. And let's see, question here from Kara. Hello, Christian. It looks good, but how big was the budget? Where'd you get the money from? What was your inspiration? It will be something like protagonists working for certain people and find they are evil. Not sure I understand the last question, but
I think I understand what they're saying. They're saying that like it sucks working with somebody and then finding out they're like don't meet your heroes. Like
right.
That might be the thing. That's happened a few times, and that's really not fun. Where you go, wow, this person really isn't the person I thought. But I mean, that just comes with the business. I think that's just people in general, right? Like you can go anywhere, dude. I think you can work in any field. You can work at Walmart or whatever. Go, dude, that general manager is a total asshole. That's crazy. He thought he was really nice, But I think it's anywhere. And the budget on this movie, I think IMDb says it's like $4 or $5 million, something like that. So again, that was the producer that brought that together and the sales companies and all that stuff. I'm not really too tied in on the money side on this one.
Flaccid Phoenix says, what scene was the most fun to shoot?
The casino scene, man. I think it's something that I always wanted to do, especially being out here in Palm Springs where I'm from. And we have, a lot of these casinos out here on the native reservations and stuff like that. We have some really great ones out here. And, I have some friends there. And it's like at the indie level, man, you don't really get to do these kind of sequences. I was friends with them, and it's like to shut down a casino and put extras in there and bring guns and all that kind of stuff in there. It's like, I feel like you got to be Michael Bay or somebody to do that kind of sequence. And I was like, I got to put Scott in this kind of 007 Jason Bourne style sequence here. So I just love that sequence, man. It's super cool, looks great, feels good. Scott looks fantastic in it. And then it's just kind of a little, like a little flex as a filmmaker to go, dude, we did a casino shootout, because it's been on my bucket list for a second.
Cool. And then Akanika says, what was it like filming in your hometown?
It's a blast. Like, one, you get to sleep in your own bed, which is great. But, it is where I started my career. So it's fun when you get to bring sometimes these movies back here. And then also, it's just like you guys, wherever you guys are from, it's cool to bring, all these big stars and the circus back to your hometown. And, you get to put your best friends as extras, and, your moms or, like your dad's buddies as, guys at the bar, extras. It's just a really fun process, and it really feels like how it felt like when you first started making movies, like with your friends. So it's really fun.
So when we're saying hometown, we're talking Palm Springs then?
Yeah, that's where I'm from, Palm Springs.
Yeah, I mean, because I do see a lot more films be coming out of Palm Springs. What specifically about Palm Springs makes it attractive for filmmakers?
Well, I think it's 2 hours southeast of LA, so it's close to Los Angeles and Hollywood. Palm Springs Palm Springs really was started as a city because of Hollywood. It was like the Rat Pack and Elvis's Marilyn Monroe, everybody's playground in the 50s. And what's a really cool getaway, destination you can do 2 hours away from LA, get away, come back. So it has a real direct tie into Hollywood. So I think Palm Springs as a whole still has this relationship with Hollywood and Los Angeles. And it's, I think that it's that. And so for me, when I started my career here, a lot of people supported that, and they still do. I couldn't make these movies without them, for sure. When I shoot here, it's really fun.
Cool. Oteo says, fights looked awesome. Were the fights hard to choreograph? Loved the action.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, I love the fights too. They're definitely tricky to choreograph a little bit. I mean, Luke Fontaine was our stunt coordinator. Scott, oversaw a lot of the choreography for some of the all the hand-to-hand fights. That was really fun. Yeah, I mean, look, all the hand-to-hand fights is a blast, and the gun battles and all that stuff. So really, really fun.
That's great. Okay, other comments here. Brock Samsonite, would you ever make a movie without a trailer? We talk about this a lot, how trailers ruin movies. Lately, I feel trailers spoil the best parts of a movie. Do you think it's possible to successfully make a movie without a trailer to help sell it?
I mean, gosh, I think you would have to be like, I don't know. I think you would have to be like a giant tentpole for people to just be so invested, like, I'm going to go watch that, whatever. I think for these movies, people really want to know what they're getting into on some level. And, you hopefully don't spoil it. I don't know if this, I don't know. You hopefully don't spoil it. And I think that's just true of just a lot of movies, that they put the kitchen sink into the trailer. And then when you watch the movie, you're like, well, I saw all the best parts in the trailer. And that's never fun. And I think at least even me and my, in this small sphere and the indie world and this, that, and the other, we try to make sure that the movie is what the trailer is, and that when you're walking in, there's going to be more delivered on screen than what you see in the trailer. I think that's the case it is for Section 8 for sure.
Yeah. So I don't think there's a way to get rid of trailers. I actually think people like trailers. They just don't like movies to be ruined. And I agree with you. If it was like a new Star Wars movie and they just said Star Wars,
you're like, I'm in.
They could have done that with the sequel trilogy. Question here, kind of an interesting question. Goober says, how do you prevent veteran actors' egos from causing issues on set?
Man, that's a very, I feel like they call me like the crazy whisperer, you know what I mean? Like, like I'm pretty good at managing that. How do you, gosh, I mean, a lot of times it's like preschool, man. How do you make sure everybody's crayons are in the right place? We're sharing, This person needs the right space. I mean, it's a really delicate process, and it definitely is an art form. That's all I'll say, you know.
Cool. And then Flaccid Phoenix asks, what other scenes are on your bucket list to shoot?
Space sci-fi for sure, 100%. Like, I haven't done a sci-fi movie. Like, that's kind of where I'm always hoping the career trajects to. I mean, my all-time favorite movie is Aliens, you know, James Cameron's Aliens. That's like my number one for sure. You know, I'm always the guy that's like trying to work on these movies, this, that, and the other, start trying to get, you know, even in episodic, like, you know, gigantic Star Wars fan, you know, sci-fi action, stuff like that. I just love the genre, and I've never played in that sandbox before. So it's definitely something I want to do.
Cool. And then a couple more questions before we wrap up. Fear the Turtle 21 asks, which directors would you say are your biggest inspirations?
When I first started my career, was definitely like the Island of Misfit directors of like Tarantino, Rodriguez, those kind of cats, you know, and now it's, you know, I think Tony Scott quite a bit, you know, these kind of dudes. John McTiernan definitely influenced a lot of stuff at the beginning, and now I keep saying, like, now I feel like one of the biggest influences probably like that is like Favreau, you know, like you're talking about a storyteller. And like the dude could do action, he could do this, he could do that, you know. And I think that, and also I feel like personality wise, like we're similar. Like we like to cook, we like to do this. It's more the, you know, just kind of more mainstream. And you know, I have guys like, why don't you just do this? I'm like, yeah, I just feel like I'm just like a mainstream storyteller. You know, I feel like I could do a thriller, I could do an action movie, you know, whatever. So I always feel like that's a trajectory and a filmmaker that I'm always inspired by, because it's like, talking about a guy that like saved the MCU, started the MCU, you know, saved Star Wars. Like, I mean, dude, like his list is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think Jon Favreau gets enough credit.
No, dude, it's like people don't give him enough credit. You're like, everything you're watching right now is kind of directly correlated to Favreau's like stamp, you know.
And a quick question here: Gandalf identifies as White Wizard asks, where can I watch Section 8? It's in theaters in limited release, if I'm correct, and also available on the AMC Plus app.
Yeah, and it's on digital everywhere right now too.
Oh, good. So everyone can see it.
Yeah.
Christian, thank you so much for joining us on the live cast today. Apologies from all of us, including
it's all good, dude.
Our live stream went down and we had some confusion, so it's never happened to us before.
Gremlins.
Yes, Gremlins. It does happen. You know, like, what is it without problems? I mean, that's filmmaking, is solving problems.
That's
all day.
That's all it is, dude. That's all it is.
Yeah. Love it. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. Check out Section 8, and thanks for stopping by to chat with all of us here on Film Threat. Take care. Later, Christian. Yeah. What a great dude. That was great. Awesome. God, I feel bad we had all these problems. I don't know how we're going to figure out like to release this. What we'll do is we'll put part 1 and part 2. Yeah. We'll leave the live streams up. We'll put part 1 and part 2. All right. So we're going to wrap it up for us today. We've been going like 2.5 hours, and just want to say thank you to Flaccid Phoenix for coming in, swooping in and saving us. Thank you to Glanuccio. Maybe he's listening. I'm not sure. Just want to thank him. Drive safe. He's on the road. And check out Flaccid Phoenix's House of the Dragon scene breakdown. There it is. Just go to the Flaccid Phoenix channel and check it out. So great stream today, everyone, says Dom T. Yeah, want to say thank you to everyone. 218, just Anonymous. Thanks, guys. Thanks. We will be back next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. We will be back, and we're going to be talking about probably the Green Woman. We'll talk more about the new House of the Dragon, episode 6.
Yeah, we got the Munsters.
We're going to be talking about the Munsters, a lot of stuff. And we'll also talk Andor and She-Hulk. We didn't really get to She-Hulk today, but I don't feel like we're missing much. We might want to just wait till it ends and then do a wrap up.
Yeah.
And then Fear the Turtle 21 for 2 says, we're long overdue for another Lin Shaye interview. We should bring We should bring her back. You know who else is back? Flaccid Phoenix. I'm back. Dropping and lurking in the back. That's what he's doing. So yeah, Munsters was painful. Well, I don't know. Let's not judge, Oteo. Let's not judge. Let's see what Alan thinks.
I'm sure I'll love it. Did Disney make it?
No. So
no, it was Universal. I hated it.
Well, there you go. But I want to say thank you to everyone in the chat. You know, once we pass 50,000, hey, we'll make that Discord. Want to give Alan a little love here. That's a love to Alan. There we go. Although he failed to see Don't Worry, Darling.
Yeah, it may be a while before I see that one.
No, aren't you going to see it with your wife?
I think I could easily talk my wife out of it.
You think you could?
I mean, she's not a feminist, that's for sure.
Well, good luck with that. But I want to say thank you to everybody. We'll be back. Support our work. Go to shop.filmthreat.com. Pick up a shirt like I'm wearing here. Wait, what's yours, Alan?
The Film Threat the 13th.
Film Threat the 13th. Mine is a Film Threat in the shape of, it looks like it could be a bat. I don't know. It's one of those Rorschach tests. Could be a lot of different things. And I want to especially thank everyone in the chat. That's all I'm doing is thank. What I do, win an award? I'm just trying to sign off. I got to get better at this. Folks, I will get better at this. Don't worry. I am going to get better. But thank you again. Have a great weekend, everybody. Interested to chat with you. If you decide to see some movies this weekend and you've seen, say, Don't Worry, Darling, curious what your thoughts are. And that's it for us. Alan?
Let's get out of here.